Hello there YouTube, this is the Rogue Gem player here and coming at you with a Gold Pride Punk deck profile using a small Goblin Biker engine. This version of the deck is a 42 card build. It's not the traditional 50 or 60 card build that you would see on this in regards to the Punk deck because of how consistent the deck is. This is actually a streamlined version of the deck as a way of showing what the deck really wants to do and accomplishing it without sacrificing consistency while being able to play the right amount of non-engine. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start with the Punk related stuff. We're going to start with 3 copies of Xiamen. She is the best card in the entire deck. She is a 1-card combo in and of herself, or in this case, a 1.5 card combo, because you do need a discard for the Foxy Tune, but it basically gives you every card that the deck strives to get to in every single game in one fell swoop. Now, obviously, this is excluding any hand trap interruptions and things like that, but you play 3 of this because it is the best one in the entire deck. We're then playing 3 copies of Foxy Tune. This is in here as another consistency card. Also, you have to search this if you normal summon the Xiamen, because you have to be able to summon the Shirakusai off of this card. If you don't draw the Xiamen, but you draw this, as long as you're willing to discard a card, you basically get the Xiamen for free. Because the combo is going to give you get you like +4 in advantage for 1 card. So, and then for the 1-ofs, we're playing the 1 copy of Ogre Dance. Ogre Dance is in here as a kind of like a search card. It's also something that you can search off the Xiamen if you really wanted to. The 1 Shirakusai, the 1 Madam Spider, the 1 Wagon, and the 1 copy of Deer Note. These 5 cards are 1-ofs. You only need this when you absolutely have to. You go through all 4 of these in your basic combo. If you draw any of these, okay, as long as you have access to the field spell, you could still resolve the full combo. Just keep in mind, but if you draw multiples of these, you're kind of screwed. So keep that in mind. Now, for the Gold Pride stuff, we're going to start with 3 copies of Leon. Leon is the only one that we play 3 of. There are justifications for others if you really wanted to. Leon is the main search target off of the trap, because you're going to get a reborn and you can quick synchro on your opponent's turn as long as you use Gold Pride monsters. So keep that in mind. So that gives you free advantage. We're then playing, for the remaining Gold Pride stuff, we're playing 2 copies of Captain Carry to search out the trap. In fact, the combo you have to search 1. But if you do draw it, then you don't need to go through the full combo. You can just search the trap through your normal plays. We're then playing 1 copy of Rollerballer. You might want to play multiples of this. I'm not really too sure about it yet. I've been kind of testing with 2 or 3 as well, and I just find that if you need it, you can get to it. You can fusion summon with it, and then you can use the fusion monster to take your opponent's stuff. And then we're playing the 1 copy of Nitro Head. All I can say is summon the token in defense mode. Always summon the token in defense mode. And also, you can use the Leon on your turn to bring back the Nitro Head and then make Psychic and Punisher with it. So keep that in mind. Now, the Goblin Biker stuff, we're playing 1 Doug Charger, the 1 copy of Clatter Exploder, and the 1 copy of Boomok. The reason why you're playing this ratio is Mean the Merciless doesn't really do anything unless you have a Goblin Biker in hand. This can resurrect from the graveyard to bring back one of these that is also in the graveyard if they're in there. You search this and you use it off the Big Gabunga, and this is in here as another search that doesn't need to do anything. You just once per chain summon it, so keep that in mind. So the remaining level 3 extenders are 2 copies, or the 1 copy of Wielder and Tracker for the Psychic monsters. You probably have seen these before. If you synchro summon with them, they get additional effects, but they are level 3 extenders that you can summon. So this can pop a card if you when you synchro summon, and this gives a synchro monster that uses the material 600 attack. But the fact that they're level 3 extenders means You can do a lot of stuff with basically, you know, very little advantage. And also the Eat Tele-targets, so... Playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to start off our hand trap lineup. We're playing the best hand traps we can, or we have access to. If you have the Molcharmies, you can play the Molcharmies. We're playing 2 copies of Droll Mockbird and the 1 copy of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. So the reason why you're playing Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in this deck is because it's searchable off of the Jam Dragon Drive, which is important because if you already have your combo pieces, you can search the Disruption. Also, it gives the Jam Dragon Drive something to search when you bring it back later on. So, now for spells, we're going to start with 3 copies of Emergency Teleport. This makes Xiamen a 1-card combo because you don't ever need to search the Foxy Tune because you can normal summon the card you add off the Xiamen. It's another extender. I always guarantee it gives you something. And I'll have to mention it is a disruption because you can summon Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit off of it. So I think it's a mandatory 3 of. Now for the other stuff, we're playing 2 copies of Gold Pride, Better Luck Next Time, which you search off of the Chariot carry to add normal carry to your hand, and then you can summon the carry, and then when the Chariot carry returns to the extra deck, you can draw a free card. So this gives you endless advantages off of that. We're playing 1 copy of Grand Entrance for Goblin Bikers. You need this for the combo. You don't want to draw it, you want to search it off of the Doug Charger. But if you do happen to draw it, it's not the end of the world. It's just really awkward because you're not really gaining any advantage off of it. And then we're playing the 1 Jam Extreme Session. It's a Pot of Greed that can summon a punk monster from your hand, which is really, really important. Not to mention also, it banishes punk cards, so if you happen to, you know, need to banish the trap because you've already used it, you can still do that. For traps, we're playing the 1 copy of Dangerous Gaboo, which is a searchable imperm/effect veiler that if you have a punk on board, you gain life equal to the target monster's original attack. But it is a searchable monster negate, which is important. The 1 copy of Start Your Engines. It's another disruption because you're gonna, when you're putting normal or specials, you can basically get a Gold Pride monster for free. It is random when you out of the 3 you pick, but then you destroy the monster that you target. So, and then we're playing the 1 copy of Full Armor Disease. We're playing the Armor Disease package. I'll explain that when we get to the extra deck. And then we're playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence as our last trap. If you have like things like Dominus Impulse and things like that, you can play those if you have them. I don't have access to them just yet, so that's my placeholder for that. So 42 cards. It's mostly monsters. It's not really anything extravagant, but you got to keep that in mind. It's always been monster heavy. Now, if you brought the deck up to 40 cards or even 60 cards if you really wanted to, you could probably add more non-engine stuff if you really wanted. So let's start with the now for the extra deck. We're gonna go with the fusions. We're playing 1 copy of Rising Carp and the 1 copy of Pinballer. Pinballer is in here because you're playing Rollerballer, and you're playing the Rising Carp because you're actually playing the Shirakusai, and this gives you into your combo in the event that you don't have access to the ways of getting into it. So this also ensures that you always have access to Jam Dragon Drive. For Synchros, we're playing the 1 copy of Starleon. It's a targeting destruction when you have less life points. It does bounce itself, but that's fine because you're using it to disrupt something, and it can be used on your opponent's turn. It's also a target for the Leon to go into when you use its first effect, because when Leon brings a monster back from the graveyard, it Xeno-locks you into Gold Prides for the rest of the turn. So keep that in mind. Playing the 1 copy of Jam Dragon Drive, you have to play this. You can play multiples if you feel like it, but I don't feel like you really need to play multiples because once you've resolved it once, you always have access to it. 1 copy of Dragite, Rising Carp's water monster. So you can make this, if you don't need to make the Jam Dragon Drive, you make the Dragite, and now you have a onboard disruption that negates spell traps. So that's kind of neat to have. And then we're playing the 1 copy of Trishula. I like having this because it's a random level 9 you can just make, especially if you have multiple carries on board. We play so many level 3s that making Trish is really easy, and you could just take a card out of your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard for basically nothing at this point. So these are some of the synchros, and then the last two are one copy of Amazing Dragon and the one copy of Psychic End Punisher. Amazing Dragon is good for disruption because when you summon it, you can just bounce multiple cards. It does bring back a punk every turn. If you choose not to do the first effect, on the turns you don't use the first effect, but you can bring back Jan Dragon Drive whenever you want. You can bring back tuners. There's a lot of things you can bring back. You can even bring back the level 8s, and now they're beat 6 that you can just summon every turn. So, and then Psychic and Punisher, it basically is an auto win button because you can get rid of stuff for basically no cost, and not to mention it gets real big. You can win games single-handedly just off of this card. For the Exceed monsters, we're playing the one copy Goblin Biker Big Gabunga. You need to play this. It's part of the Goblin Biker package. If you don't have a Goblin Biker card in your hand to really use it with, like if you don't draw the Doug Charge, you're not going to go through that. So keep that in mind. We're then playing the one copy of Chariot Carry to search out the spell. And then for the full armor Xyz stuff, we're playing Xyz Armor Torpedo, a copy of Xyz Armor Fortress, and then the full armor Dark Knight Lancer. So the idea is, if you already have certain parts of your combo, you can make the Xyz Armor Torpedo to draw a free card. In any other situation, you're going to stack the Big Gabunga with Armor Fortress, which searches the trap. And then you, on your opponent's turn, you play the trap to go into this, and then you detach a material, or you try to get a material detached from the Armor Fortress, and all of a sudden you have the ability to just equip something, and then this disrupts and takes something from your opponent. So that's actually neato. And then the two last things are Link monsters. So I am playing a copy of IP Masquerena and a copy of Nightmare Unicorn. So if you have SP Little Knight, this is a good replacement for it. But IP Masquerena allows you to kind of, on certain occasions, you'll get situations where you will have extra material and you really don't, or you need to open up space for things like Leon and things like that. You can go into this, and then you can, if your opponent's going to do something, you can make the Nightmare Unicorn, and now when it's summoned, can't be destroyed by card effects, and you're going to get rid of a card and shuffle it back into the deck. So it's actually pretty oppressive in that sense. So keep that in mind. So it's a pretty cool concept. Now, the reason why I'm not playing the Adventure Engine in this particular version of the deck is mainly just the Adventure package doesn't accomplish anything in the long run. It does help you isolate you from things like Nibiru and things like that, but it's also another one of those, if you normal summon, you're screwed, because sometimes you have to normal summon the Xiamen, and you have to go into the whole combo, otherwise you're kind of screwed. So it's kind of dependent on how you play the deck. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.